incredible, and just knowing that that's what the potential is, and how look at that weird water tile surrounded there. That's weird. But just knowing that that's how amazing the remixes can sound. There's a remix of Great Canyon that he's done as well, and it sounds awesome. And just hearing the remake music, and it's just... Granted, I know that because they're all epic orchestral remixes. Also, normally I couldn't get that, but thanks to it being a water type, I can grab that. Thank God. And just, you know, they're a little over the top for Pokemon. But it's Mystery Dungeon, which is, you know, the most over the top and epic as it gets. But it's just a shame to hear how dull. I'm really making them seem worse than they are, but the remixes can be they're a little disappointing compared to, you know, what could have been. That being said, though, you know, they're not bad. They're certainly not bad. Some are pretty good. But it's just, you know, when the original Game Boy Advance version of most of the songs sounds better, that it's a little disappointing. I think it's just the GBA's sound font, or all the sound fonts that it could have. It's just, oh. Part of me wishes that the GBA is what followed up from the SNES, and it was a home console, because just the beautiful sprite work and the sound quality, or the sound fonts, and just, this is the, I think, yeah, I'd say the GBA was the perfect 2D game machine, because, you know, you got stuff like this, and the Castlevania, like Aria of Sorrow on the Game Boy Advance looks and sounds beautiful, and it's just it's the peak of 2D sprite-based games, I feel. So unfortunately I'm going to have to fight two Vileplumes at once, which are going to use Absorb on a water type, which is fantastic. It's exactly what I want. But anyway, yeah, the remake's music is... it's not as good as the original. I think Mount Thunder has it worse. From what I've listened to like Thunderwave Cave from the demo, but Mount Thunder, Great Canyon, and the Final Dungeon theme is what I was really looking for. And none of them top the original. Sky Tower, I keep saying the Final Dungeon's name, whatever, you know it now. Its theme is fantastic, and the remade song is pretty good. You know, I'd say it's very good, but it's still not as good as the original. Is it the same composer? That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. But anyway. Yeah, this dungeon's 13 floors. We're only at the 5th floor. Wow, we've really spent a lot of time here. Okay. There's a Murkrow there. Yeah, it's strange seeing... like, we saw Electabuzz in the previous dungeon, and Murkrow, and just knowing that they're going to get evolutions in the next game. Pardon me, I burped. Knowing that they're going to get evolutions in the next game, and then seeing them in their supposedly strongest form here. It's strange, you know. I think there are a few, because this came out in 2006, which was prime time for the Pokemon games, or Pokemon media in general, to drop, or to show a bunch of Gen 4 Pokemon, you know, at the very tail end of Gen 3, in the gap year between Gen 3 and 4, which is 2006, end of 2005. And all throughout that time, you know, in the anime, Max got a Munchlax. Or was it May? Whatever, one of them got a Munchlax. Gen 4 Pokemon. We saw plenty of Gen 4 Pokemon. We saw, you know, the movie, the Pokemon the movie, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, which is, yeah, probably my favorite Pokemon movie. I love that movie. You know, that showed Lucario. I'm pretty sure it showed, I think it had Mime Jr. in it as well, yeah. So there you go, tons of Gen 4 Pokemon. And this game has Munchlax in it, I think. You can't recruit him, unfortunately, but you know, there's tons of Gen 4 Pokemon. Well, maybe not tons, but you know, a lot compared to any other generational gap period that just appear. The most recent one I can think of is Magina in the Gen 6 movie, or one of the Gen 6 movies. Also, this Noctowl is going to kill me, isn't it? And if I attract it, see that? Boom. There you go. But yeah, this most recent case I can think of is Magina in that Gen 6 movie, just before she came out in Gen 7. Oh, and I think that happened with Zorua. Yeah, it did. It happened with Zorua and Zoroark in that one Gen 4 movie. So yeah, it's interesting how they do that. It's pretty neat because it also makes it seem like the Pokemon in those movies or in that extra media is gonna be very important in the next generation, but they're not. Zorua had an event in Gen 5 Part 1, just black and white, but in Black and White 2 you could just get Zorua just fine, and it was super annoying because I couldn't do the event because I managed to have a router. That was my problem with the DS, is that the Wi-Fi was fantastic, but you needed to have a unsecure router. I can't remember the logistics of it, I can't remember the technicalities, but a pretty unsecure and unsafe router, which isn't too much of a problem. Sure, it's not great, but by the time that the DS was coming to an end, or you know, entering the end of its life, most routers that were coming out were very private routers. So, you know, more secure, more safe, and that's good. But the DS can't recognize them. I mean, it sees them, but it doesn't know how to access them because, as far as it's aware, it can't. It's not allowed. So we managed to get a router like that at the end of the DS's lifespan, and just before Black and White 1's international release, or Australian release at least, and because of that, I never got the Victini event, despite the fact I could see so many things of it going on, and I knew it was happening, but I couldn't get it. Because the DS wouldn't connect to the router, and you know, stuff like that. I couldn't do Mario Kart DS online anymore. The Wii didn't have that problem, thankfully, but it was a shame. I mean, then the servers got shut down in 2014 anyway, so who cares, right? Just some stupid Pokemon. But the strangest part is that the 3DS could recognize those, and that was good. But obviously, you know, the 3DS wasn't out in March of 2011, was it? I think it came out in June or something. Whatever, the point is, no one had it at that time, nor did I. So I couldn't access that. Oh, here's a link box. Marvelous box that enables the user to link and delink moves on the fly. So it's essentially, you don't have to go to Gulpin's link shop. If you have a link box, you can just do it in a dungeon. But no thanks. Linking moves is not for me. It's just it wastes too much PP is my problem with it. You know, and also Henry's taking a lot of poison damage. I'm rushing to the stairs, damn it, if I can find them. But see, I had always imagined a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon remake in my head, and what's known to me, it would look something like the Link's Awakening remake. You know how gorgeous it looks with all the shadow effects and all that. You know, make up for the lack of the beautiful sprite work. But it would, you know, look gorgeous with the beautiful rendering and shadows and all that, and the music would be, you know, something akin to those orchestral remixes, and it would be super grand, and it would become my favourite game of all time. But no, we did get a remake, but it's just, I don't know, I'm not really a fan of how it looks or sounds. A better example of the art style that it goes for is in Kingdom Hearts 3, in the 100 Acre Wood in that game. It looks much better. And don't say that's because of the graphical power that the PS4 and Xbox One have that the Switch doesn't. That's not intensive. It's not intensive at all. It just looks better. It's better design. Because if there's one word that fits with the 100 Acre Wood in Kingdom Hearts 3, it's non-intensive. So, yeah, there you go. Alright, Ariados. If I remember, Ariados can be a bit of a pain. I'm thinking of later dungeons with Survivor. Survivor is the worst in this game, and I can't remember why. I just remember it being annoying to deal with. So there you go. I think I just hate Survivors in general. Because of that, it's still up on YouTube. The time a few years ago where I was EV training in Pokemon Y for this is before the Pokemon Wi-Fi matches were even a thing yet. And I was EV training to get those up, had the team ready, and I happened to run into a shiny Zangoose surrounded by 4 Survivors in a horde battle, and they killed it, and I was so mad. If it was a shiny Survivor, it wouldn't have mattered anywhere near as much, but of course it wasn't, so. But just imagining what a Great Canyon could look like in a Link's Awakening style remake. You know, and just how huge it could be, and they don't have to, all the dungeons don't have to look like boxes, and you know, in sort of like lab rat mazes. You know, they could look like actual canyons, and they could look grand, but the remake still goes for that for the box look, and I don't know, man. You know, give some elevation to these walls. Okay, he's trying to learn Pursuit here. Pursuit in this game just makes it so you're ready to counter. It doesn't attack, it's useless. It's nowhere near as useful as Pursuit is in the mainline games, because Pursuit in the mainline games still doesn't attack. Actually, is Sucker Punch in this game? Because if it is, that'd be pretty decent. That'd be, you know, be decently useful. I would hope it'd have more PP than it does in the mainline, which is 5. So 5 or 10, I can't remember. Anyway, another link box. I usually just leave the link boxes, they're not useful at all. Personally, anyway. Maybe you want to link a status move with an attacking move, so that way, you know, maybe you can lower the defense and then go for an attack, but it just uses up so much PP to me, and that's not worth it, because there's one thing I'm, you know, adamant about in this game is resource management, and especially PP management. That's the same way that I play Resident Evil, is I'm super conservative. You know, I'm more of a better safe than sorry sort of player in this game and in Resident Evil, so there you go. I'm talking classic Resident Evil as well. I haven't really played any of the modern ones. And now I'm debating as to whether I should do Resident Evil 1 for the channel. maybe I'd do a similar scenario as to, you know, what I did with Persona 1, where I did the original Revelations Persona for the main story, and then the remake for the Snow Queen quest. Actually, yeah, I could do that for, you know, maybe I'd play the original PS1 version for Jill's story, and then the remake for Chris's story, I guess. Because Chris definitely has it better in the remake. Yeah, I'd say so. Thanks to the lighter. We're almost at the end of the dungeon here. I just decided to go on to the next floor because I've spent a lot of time in this dungeon already. There's no boss fight at the end of this dungeon, you know, unless you want to fight Xatu, but I don't think he'd care, if I'm honest. Not to spoil his personality. Anyway, yeah, we're almost at the end here. We're fighting Tauros. Tauros' sprite looks really cool. Like, look at the little lighting effects that it has. Seriously, this game has some of the best sprite work I've ever seen. Especially when it comes to the more complicated Pokemon, because, you know, a lot of more complicated Pokemon can just look ugly and messy. When they're... or not even Pokemon, but, you know, just any sort of sprites that are very complicated and have a lot of things going on can look ugly and messy. But this game looks really nice when it comes to them. So you saw Tyranitar and Charizard, they look fantastic in this game. So anyway, here we are at the end, the summit. Yes, we finally made it to the top, Whitey. This is the Hill of the Ancients. Look, over there. There he is, there's Xatu. Whitey, is that Xatu over there? Excuse me, are you maybe Xatu? Hello? Also, that sun is enormous. I get it, it's a fictional sunset, of course it's going to be big, but still, and also looking into it. He's not responding at all. Maybe he's sleeping while on his feet. What should we do? Tickle him or attack him? I don't exactly want to attack him, so I go for the tickle option. And nothing. He's gasping for air while tickling. Is he just tense? So anyway, Xatu is not as funny as you'd think he would be, judging by that, but, you know. No, unfortunately not. He's still pretty generic oracly based, I guess. More like a generic oracle archetype. All day I stare at the sun unblinking. It's a line and a half. So yeah, Xatu supposedly has some answers for us, so are we gonna get in here? Also, the bells here sound amazing. I should probably be reading these out, but I'm too busy focusing on the song. Anyway, what's named the natural disasters and the human turning into the Pokemon are related. don't understand why that's so shocking to Trico. The unthinkable. What is the unthinkable? Who knows? There you go, the world's destruction. She hasn't reacted as violently to that, but oh well. Anyway, there's Gengar, and Gengar being here kicks off the next few hours of the game. Always sort of the catalyst of the next events of the game, which go on for a while. It is probably my favourite portion of the game, granted, but just to think it was started by Gengar leaves a bad taste in my mouth the next morning.